Hey guys, welcome back. Now breakfast is such an important meal. Now this one has got just three ingredients. It's yogurt, it's cornflakes and mango, but with a twist. So let's start cooking. The first thing we're going to do is actually going to make a caramel, and this caramel is going to then flavor the cornflakes, and not just flavor the cornflakes and make it sweet, but also make it nice and crunchy. So when you actually eat the dish, you get each bite will have a nice kind of a crunch and a good flavor. So they've got a very nice mouthfeel. Now to make the caramel, we first put a heavy bottom pan. Always use a heavy bottom pan, never a light pan, because you want the pan to retain the heat. In this you add sugar. So I'm using white sugar, but you can use brown sugar if you like, it works fine. Now when you're actually going to make a caramel, you never really stir the sugar with your spoon or a spatula. Let the heat gently melt the sugar and let the caramel come on its own. You can swirl the pan but never really stir it with a spoon. It sticks on to the spatula or the spoon and it doesn't caramelize quite well. So the simple technique is to just leave it onto a low to medium heat and let the sugar melt and then begin to caramelize. As you can see, the sugar has begun to melt and turn into a light brown color. That's caramelizing, but there's still some lumps of sugar. So all I do at this stage is just swirl the pan. Just make sure I get all the sugar at the melted stage. You can see that? It's all getting into nice golden brown color. There, you can see the color. Gets to a very nice kind of a rich, dark caramel color. At this stage, I'm going to reduce the heat down. Just swirl the pan so the sugar, there are no sugar lumps left. And as you can see, it's perfectly fine. It's nice and clean, or rather nice and clear. Now if I cook it for too long, then that basically becomes into a dark caramel and becomes a bit bitter. I don't want that. So at this stage, all I do is I add in cornflakes. Now I've got plain cornflakes here. I don't want to have any flavored cornflakes because I want the flavor of the cornflakes to come through with sugar. So no extra flavoring required, just plain cornflakes. And with a spoon, a rubber spatula, all I do is I mix the caramel into my cornflakes. So try and get as much as even coating around these. It doesn't have to be completely coated, but just to hold the cornflakes together. And the sugar should just basically wrap around them and give it a kind of a caramel flavor. There, you see that? Now once the sugar dries out and becomes cold, it becomes quite nice and firm. And that's the kind of a texture you want to come. It has a nice kind of a crunch. So when you bite into it, you feel the real crunch of the cornflakes and the sugar. There we are. So now all I do, I switch off my heat and I'm going to put the cornflakes onto my roasting tray, which I've lined with a rubber mat or a silk pad. Now you can use a greaseproof paper, that's perfectly fine. And I just spread it slightly. The easiest way is to fold it and just press it down. There we are. All I'm doing is just spreading it up for it to become firm and to cool down. So nice, crunchy, caramelly. Now that I will rest for a good 8 to 10 minutes for the sugar to dry, cool down and become firm. So as the cornflakes is cooling down, the next step I'm going to do is actually make a sweetened yogurt. Again, this is a breakfast pot, so you want something very nice and clean and simple. So little icing sugar into yogurt, not too much, just a tablespoon is just about more than enough. You don't want to make it too sweet. You can use icing sugar, you can use coconut sugar, you can use palm sugar, it works well. If you want to have a coconut yogurt, you can also use that, that's perfectly okay. All you do is basically just mix in the yogurt and the sugar till it is nice and smooth. So the yogurt is nice and smooth, as you can see. So that's the second part to the dish. The third part is going to be the puree of mangoes. Now I have had some fresh mangoes at home, which I basically peeled off, put them into a blender and just whipped it together till you get this very nice kind of a rich, luxurious, kind of a velvety but thick mango puree. Now you can thin it down if you like and make it into one string consistency, as your choice. I like to keep it as natural as possible, so I've not even added any water into this while pureeing it. It is just the fresh, ripe, juicy mangoes blitzed together into a blender, and that's what you get. If you can't get mangoes, you can use any fruit in season and make it into puree, it will work well. Or if you want to use a canned mango puree, even that would work well. The choice is yours. But because this is breakfast, try and keep very simple flavors. Don't try and overcomplicate too many flavors into your flavored pots or yogurt pots. Mango, yogurt really is a very classic combination. It really works well. So we got the three parts of the dish ready. We've got our cornflakes, which have been caramelized and crispy. We got the sweetened yogurt, and we have got the mango. Now all that is left to do is to put the pot together. To assemble the dish, I've taken a glass jar. So you can actually buy ready-made jars from the market, or you can use jars which are, if you buy stuff at home, any sauces or salsa, this is what I've used. You basically wash it down, take off the labels and use them. They're very user-friendly, they're a very good size. So for breakfast time, these are perfect to have for a breakfast, one per person. It's a great meal on its own, complete meal. Now the whole thing is about assembling the thing together. So the three parts of the dish, there's a mango, fresh mango puree, there is the sweetened yogurt, and the cornflakes for the texture. Now cornflakes have got dried up, and I can show you here. As soon as I break it, it gives a kind of a crackle sound, and when you eat it, it gets very, very crunchy. Look at that, very nice and crispy. So all I do at this stage is I break some up, I put them on the bottom. They have such a nice kind of a crunch and a sound and a bite. It's very, very inviting. Again, a generous layer at the bottom. You want to really, when you bite into it, you want to have the crunch coming through. Add a little more. Tap it down gently. And then in this, I'm going to spoon in my sweetened yogurt. Just spread the yogurt all over the cornflakes. Give it a little tap. And on top of this, I'm now going to add some fresh mango puree. And look at the colors. It's got a vibrant yellow for the mango. It's got the white in it. Just going to be a bit more generous and add a little more mango. And a second layer of sweetened yogurt. A little more. A little tap, just get the yogurt to settle down. And you can see the two very distinct layers of the white of the yogurt and the yellow of the mango. And to finish off, finally, is going to be garnished with lots and lots of crunchy, crispy cornflakes. Now, if you don't want to make cornflakes, you can probably use granola. Homemade granola is the best thing to have. Very easy, very simple to use. I've done it in my past recipes. It works very well. Or you can buy a store-bought granola or a flavored cornflakes of your choice. It's entirely up to you. A very simple dish, something which you can make and keep in the fridge in advance. Except the cornflakes on top, you can put the yogurt and the layering and keep it already intact. All you do is basically add cornflakes just before you consume the pot. Very simple dish, lots of flavors and a great texture. In a nutshell and very briefly, caramelized cornflake pot with yogurt and fresh mangoes. Simple and delicious. So don't forget to make it for your friends and family, and do not forget to tag me. So until next time, happy cooking.